This really is the big story of the day. The Constitutional Court will, in the next hour, or rather the next 26 minutes, begin hearing arguments in a case on the alleged rand manipulation involving local and international banks. The Competition Commission is appealing a ruling that cleared most of the banks of collusion, accusing them of rigging the rand-dollar exchange rate through secret information sharing on messaging platforms. Let's unpack the story now. Cilliers is a currency strategist at TreasuryONE. Andre, it's great to talk to you. Thanks very much for coming on. You know, my first question for you was whether the Constitutional Court is a really high bar for the Competition Commission to meet. And I suppose the order of business today tells us that answer, because the Competition Commission has almost 3 hours for its opening to the Constitutional Court.
Yes, this is a case that stems back a very long time. First of all, the currency manipulation that they're referring to happened very long ago. But it was referred by the Competition Commission to the Competition Tribunal in 2017, who then investigated it. There was then appeals by some of the banks, because 17 of the banks was international banks, and they appealed and said that the Competition Tribunal has got no jurisdiction over them. The Competition Appeals Court then heard the case and found indeed that there is no jurisdiction over those banks. That is what is now being appealed by the Competition Commission to the Constitutional Court. So this case today and the next couple of days is not so much about actual currency manipulation. It's whether the jurisdiction was there or not there for the Commission Appeals Court to have made a ruling, and whether the Competition Tribunal had the jurisdiction or not to investigate the currency manipulation.
Right, I'm with you. So it's on a question of procedure in a way, right? And I'm just looking again at
it's more about procedure than anything else.
Yeah. I'm looking at the order of business over the next couple of hours, few hours really, when that case starts in the Constitutional Court at 10 o'clock, pardon me. We've got the Bank of America that also has an allocated time to address the Constitutional Court. And then we've got the Australia and New Zealand Banking Group. We've also got Nedbank addressing the court as well. So my question to you, Andre, is depending on what the decision is by the Constitutional Court here, I mean, these are not just local banks. These are banks around the world as well. If the Constitutional Court says, yes, there is a case here for jurisdiction, surely these international banks will take it up in their own countries as well. What do you reckon?
Yes, there's a very good chance that they will take it up in their own countries as well. But depending on the ruling, if the Constitutional Court rules that the Commission Appeals Court in actual fact erred by saying that there has not been jurisdiction over these people, then obviously the tribunal would be able to continue with their investigations, and then they would be able to make findings on that and would be able to impose fines on the said banks. In that case, once that is done, then obviously there could be further appeals, and there could also be appeals and court cases in the respected banks' own countries.
Yeah, I mean, so essentially what that means is that no matter what the Constitutional Court decides today, there is still a very, very long road to go here. I'm just looking for the exact dates, but this foreign exchange trading happened between allegedly 2007 and 2013, right? This alleged collusive conduct in foreign exchange trading.
Yes.
So tell us about exactly what happened, because they're accused of rigging the rand-dollar exchange rate through secret information sharing on messaging platforms. What does that mean, Andre? And how much money is alleged to have been made here?
Okay, so there's chat rooms, for instance, on Bloomberg's.
Right.
Now, what they say was used quite a lot. That simply means that traders then spoke to each other and agreed on certain bids and offers on electronic trading platforms, and bids and offers that might have possibly influenced the movement of the rand, because it was agreed to by several banks, several traders, and that could have led to manipulation. How much money was actually made is extremely difficult to calculate. You would have to go back to each respective bank on respective days, calculate their profits and losses, highlight the trades that was done in collusion with each other, and then come up with a figure.
Yeah. Yeah.
The effect on the economy is even more difficult to calculate, because currency manipulation is not something that you can continue on a continuous basis. One must keep in mind that the foreign exchange market is one of the biggest and most liquid markets in the world. So for a few banks to come in and collude with each other can be done on specific days, short term, as a possibility. It's not even to say that it will be successful, because it depends on the trades that other players in the market also have on that specific day, driven by export and import trades from corporate customers. So it's not a very easy thing to do, first of all. So it's not a very easy case to hear or investigate or calculate profits or losses or the effect on the economy. And you cannot even say or calculate where the rand would have been or should have been had there been no manipulation of trades on a specific day.
Wow. I mean, that's stunning, isn't it? And just the complexity of what you're describing explains why it's now been 10 years, over 10 years, since the Competition Commission first launched that investigation. And of course, it wasn't just 13 local and international banks, but 28 in all. The big question, I suppose, as well, Andre, as part of a whole range of big questions is, you know, has this happened? We now know this has happened most likely between these years, 2007 and 2013. I suppose then we're asking ourselves, has this happened previously or since then without being detected?
Very difficult. As I explained, it's a huge, huge market. It's one of the biggest markets in the world. And for a couple of banks, if you look at the volumes of trades that goes through on a daily basis, for a couple of banks to get together and agree with each other on specific actions is extremely difficult. Because it's not just driven by their trades, it's driven by deals from importers and exporters, and no bank can collude as to when that importer or exporter is actually going to make the decision to execute certain trades. So it's a very difficult one. I would not say that it's impossible, but extremely difficult.
Yeah.
But after this came about in 2017, I do not think that anything like that happened. Something that one must also keep in mind is that technology has advanced tremendously. Risk profiles in terms of open trades and trades done by traders and positions run by traders from a risk management point of view was tightened up a lot over the last couple of years. If you go back, then there was, for instance, in the LIBOR market on interest rates, a lot of years back in London, there was manipulation of the fixing of the LIBOR rate that had come about, and banks was heftily fined for that. And I think that made people cautious of actually trying to do something like that, because, you know, it's almost like something that you place on the internet. Once you've chatted in a chat room on an electronic platform, once it's out there, it's there forever. So I very much doubt whether people would, over the last couple of years, contribute to things like that at all.
Yeah. Again, just a reminder for our viewers, so the Bank of America will be addressing the Constitutional Court, the Australia and New Zealand Banking Group, Nedbank as well, along with a number of other respondents. So, Andre, is it correct to say that these banks, if indeed these allegations are true, of collusion, of rigging the rand-dollar exchange rate, would there have been individuals within these organizations that were cooperating to this end?
Yes, it's individuals that would have done that, that would have entered into those chat rooms and would have done that, agreeing of collusion and manipulation. It's not the bank as such, but at the end of the day, the employee of the bank entering into such discussions is bound by rules set by the bank, and the bank remains responsible for the actions of their staff. But it would not be on instruction of the bank. It would be done by individuals.
That's stunning, isn't it? For a group of individuals based in all corners or many corners of the world come together on a messaging app to agree to this kind of collusion involving not only the banks they work for, but also import, export.
You know, I'm just going to take you back. I mean, you can, obviously, all the viewers can see that I'm not today's child anymore. Now, I've been a trader on a trading desk in a bank, trading the dollar-rand exchange rate as far back as 1983. Now, I can tell you now that in those days, we definitely didn't have these fancy trading platforms in electronic trading. You worked with telephones, your word was your honor. But we did speak to each other as banks, exchanging our views and discussing what happens in the market. I mean, that is of vital importance to talk to people in these markets to find out what's going on, what are they seeing, why is the currency moving in a certain direction. But there was no collusion, there was no agreement. So you did exchange ideas. Through the years, things developed, electronic trading platforms came in, and I think I would almost suppose that people thought, you know, if you can do that, that becomes almost anonymous that you do that. Friendships was fostered in the market. People knew each other. They would sit down over lunch and dinners and talk to each other and become friends. So I would imagine, you know, that at the end of the day, as individuals, you could get carried away and say, you know, what if we do this or do that? Can we make more money? Because in the market over the years, traders was also incentivized on the profits that they made in getting incentive bonuses. So maximizing your profit would have definitely come up in discussions and chasing money for your own pocket. But as I say, that's individuals. The bank remains responsible for the actions of their staff.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I mean, what you've described is the oldest story of corruption, isn't it? Andre Cilliers is a currency strategist at TreasuryONE. It's just now, just about 12 minutes to go until the Competition Commission does address the Constitutional Court.